From the time we're kids, we're handed a very specific script, right? Study hard, get a secure job, save your money, and boom, you'll be set for life. Well, in this explainer, we're going to completely shatter the illusion that a high salary automatically equals lasting wealth. I mean, it sounds like the perfect safe roadmap, but here's the thing. Stability is not the same thing as wealth. You can spend literal decades climbing the corporate ladder, working crazy overtime and sacrificing your weekends, only to finally reach the top and realize your ladder was leaning against the completely wrong wall. So today, we're going to unpack the hidden system of habits and financial decisions that keep millions of us just running on a treadmill. And more importantly, we'll talk about exactly how to step off it. We've got to start with a burning question. If you're putting in the hours, getting the promotions, and climbing that corporate ladder, why do you still feel financially stuck? It's a ridiculously frustrating reality for so many people. The middle class is the absolute backbone of the economy, working hard, paying taxes, keeping society moving. Yet hard work alone simply doesn't guarantee financial independence. And that's because the rules of earning money are fundamentally different from the rules of building wealth. Until we actually understand those rules, we're just going to keep running faster without ever reaching our destination. Let's look at exactly how this plays out in real life. Let's compare two hardworking families with the exact same income to see how their financial habits create entirely different futures. Imagine the Sharma family and the Wilson family. Okay, both parents work full-time, both earn the exact same amount, and obviously, both want the absolute best for their kids. But for the Sharmas, the monthly salary hits the bank account and immediately evaporates. Poof, gone to rent, groceries, school fees, and car payments. 10 years later, they are still entirely dependent on their next paycheck. Now, the Wilsons, they don't earn a single penny more, but they take a portion of their income to buy investments. A decade later, they've got multiple income streams and their wealth is literally growing while they sleep. Same income, completely different mindset. For decades, we've been fed arguably the biggest financial lie out there, that a secure job and a good salary are the final destination for financial freedom. Think about it. We're taught in school how to become employees, right? How to pass exams, how to earn a living, but we are almost never taught how compound growth works, where your interest actually starts earning its own interest, or how to make our money work for us. If earning a high salary automatically created wealth, then every single highly paid doctor, engineer, or executive would already be financially free. But a huge chunk of them are still living paycheck to paycheck. There is a terrifying reality for millions of people where the entire paycheck is devoured before the month even begins. Imagine this breakdown. 40% goes straight to monthly loan installments or EMIs, 30% goes to rent, and another 30% goes to living expenses. And savings? Absolutely zero. Nothing left. This isn't just a tight budget, it's practically a blueprint for a financial prison built slowly, one monthly payment at a time. The salary is entirely spoken for before it even hits the bank account. Relying on just one paycheck puts you in what we call the salary trap. It leaves you incredibly vulnerable to layoffs, recessions, or, AI just straight up replacing your job. Imagine waking up tomorrow to an email saying your position has been eliminated. If your entire lifestyle depends on that one single source of income, how long could you survive? A month? 3 months? For most folks, the answer is genuinely terrifying. The world is changing so rapidly right now, and relying on a single paycheck has become riskier than ever before. Think of your income like a table. If you only have one leg holding it up, it's incredibly fragile. But adding investments and side businesses, that creates unbreakable stability. If that one leg is your salary and it gets knocked out by a bad economy, the whole table crashes down. But if you add a leg of rental income, a leg of dividend investments, and maybe a fourth leg from a side business or digital products, your financial life becomes rock solid. You don't just have one engine pulling your train anymore. You have several. It really comes down to this. Income makes you comfortable, but assets make you wealthy. Your job provides the bricks, but you have to actively build the house to actually escape the trap. If you just collect bricks your whole life, they're just going to remain scattered on the ground. A good job is a fantastic starting point. It gives you those bricks, but it is absolutely not the final destination. Real wealth only begins when your money starts producing more money. So what happens when you finally get that big promotion you've been working so hard for? You leave your manager's office smiling, celebrating, but 6 months later, your bank account is still totally empty. Where on earth did it all go? Unfortunately, most people immediately fall victim to lifestyle inflation. They're essentially running faster on the hedonic treadmill just to stay in the exact same place. Psychologists call it the hedonic treadmill for a really good reason. The first time you buy an expensive phone or go on a luxury vacation, it feels incredible. But pretty soon it just becomes your new normal. And then you start wanting a bigger house, a newer car, a better watch. Your spending expands at the exact same speed as your new income. It's crazy to see how a rapid series of lifestyle upgrades consumes all new wealth. Let's say in year one, someone is making $40,000, living modestly, maybe even saving a little. By year three, they get promoted and are making double that. But almost immediately, they rent a bigger apartment, finance a brand new car, and start eating at expensive restaurants. By year five, despite earning twice as much as they used to, they are saving absolutely nothing. They created a much more expensive life, not a wealthier one. And this lifestyle inflation seamlessly builds into the debt trap. Every new loan adds another heavy stone to your financial backpack, silently forcing you to work just to pay for yesterday's decisions. When you get your first job, suddenly everything feels affordable because companies are so eager to lend you money. Buy now, pay later. But every single time you do that, you are literally borrowing from your future self. Imagine climbing a steep mountain and putting a small rock in your backpack with every loan. Eventually, you become so exhausted that you aren't even moving toward freedom anymore. You're just trying to survive the weight of the backpack. Now, it's absolutely critical to understand the difference between good debt that builds your future value and bad debt that simply finances immediate consumption. Debt isn't always evil. Good debt, like a thoughtful loan for education or maybe a home or a business expansion, has the potential to create future value. But bad debt, financing a luxury car, the newest smartphone, or flashy vacation, that simply drains your wealth. It literally reduces your freedom because you can't quit a job you hate when you have a mountain of bad debt tying you down. But wait, even if you avoid debt entirely and save every single penny, there is an invisible force quietly destroying your money while you sleep. You can't see it, you can't stop it, and no one is physically stealing from your bank account. Yet, your money is becoming worth less and less every single year. Yup, the cost of ordinary items like a cup of coffee can jump 100% over a decade. It perfectly demonstrates how inflation silently erodes your purchasing power. That $20 or 20 rupee coffee from 10 years ago, it now costs 40. And the coffee didn't become twice as good, your money just became weaker. It's exactly like a tiny invisible leak in a water tank. You barely notice it day to day, but over a decade, that tank is far emptier than you ever expected. Consider two different approaches. David leaves all his money in a savings account for 20 years, terrified of risk. His balance stays exactly the same, but his purchasing power is absolutely crushed by inflation. Sophia, on the other hand, builds her emergency fund but then invests the rest consistently in assets that grow faster than inflation. She thinks in decades, not days. Leaving your money idle isn't a safe bet. It is a guaranteed loss of wealth over time. If your money isn't growing, inflation is quietly moving it backwards. Doing nothing with your money has massive consequences. The middle class often believes that avoiding all risk is the safest strategy, but the wealthy understand that the true goal is making informed decisions that match your long-term goals in actually putting that money to work. Escaping these traps requires a fundamental mindset shift. You have to go from thinking like a consumer to thinking like an owner. Consumers get a paycheck and immediately ask, "What should I buy next?" Owners get a paycheck and ask, "What can I build?" Consumers spend and wait for payday. Owners invest and create opportunities. This one single shift in perspective changes the entire trajectory of your life. The difference in habits between the middle class and the wealthy is just stark. The middle class focuses on working for money. The wealthy make money work for them, treating every single dollar like an employee. The middle class thinks in terms of months and the next paycheck. The wealthy think in decades, planting seeds they know won't bear fruit for years. And when income goes up, the middle class upgrades their lifestyle, while the wealthy, they upgrade their assets. All right, we've diagnosed the relentless pressure of the problem, so let's shift gears and look at the actionable roadmap to actually achieve financial freedom. Knowing the traps is really only half the battle. Now we need to look at what you can actually do today with the income you already have to start changing your financial destiny. Here are 5 concrete steps you can take starting right now. Step 1, spend less than you earn to artificially widen your wealth gap. Step 2, build that emergency fund. Get cash in the bank so a flat tire doesn't derail your entire life. Step 3, invest in yourself. Read, learn new skills, understand technology. Your knowledge is an asset no market crash can ever take away. Step 4, buy assets before luxuries. Let the dividends from your investments eventually pay for your vacations. And Step 5, create multiple income streams so you're never entirely reliant on a single boss. You don't have to be perfect, but you do have to be consistent because your financial journey always begins in your mind. Every fortune begins with a decision. If you plant seeds of fear and excuses, well, that's exactly what will grow. But if you plant discipline, patience, and optimism, your financial future starts changing long before your bank account does. Every wealthy person started with zero assets. The important thing is just to begin today. I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to carry with you. 5 years from today, will you be building your own assets or simply spending your life paying bills? Will you still be blaming your circumstances, or will you thank yourself for taking responsibility? The absolute greatest investment you will ever make is in the person staring back at you in the mirror. When your mindset changes, your decisions change. And when your decisions change, your future changes completely.